Welcome. Voice activation required.
Thor.
Access denied.
God of Thunder.
Denied.
Strongest Avenger.
Denied.
Let me try.
Banner.
Welcome, strongest Avenger.
What?
This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and review. The movie I'm looking at today is Thor Ragnarök, directed by Taika Waititi, a New Zealand director who's known for quirky, more comedic type movies. And it's an approach I think that works well with Thor. Keep in mind that for whatever reason, Thor hasn't quite resonated in the same way that Iron Man and Captain America have. And I don't think it's necessarily due to Chris Hemsworth as an actor, because he's very enthusiastic, he's game, he has fun with the role. But Thor and its sequel, Thor: The Dark World, didn't quite click. And that's not to imply that either film was unsuccessful at the box office. That's not the case at all. And it's hard to figure out why Thor hasn't quite gelled. His character hasn't resonated in the same way Iron Man or Captain America have. And I imagine Marvel were thinking, we have to find a way to make this character work. So Chris Hemsworth has shown as of late to have a comedic streak, such as Ghostbusters, which, to be totally honest with you, I don't think it was that funny in. It was more a case of the way people responded to him than him in and of itself. But in any case, he took a more comedic turn in that movie, and we see that reflected more in Thor Ragnarok. And it's an enjoyable movie, well written, clever at times. But the thing is, its weakness for me is that while by no means a comedy, what it tended to do was to overemphasize one-liners. And for me, that's not the type of comedy I prefer. I prefer, in these type of movies in particular, a more situational comedy, which is to say, someone looks a certain way or says something that elicits a laugh. It's not necessarily a joke. And there are lots, well, I should say more than typical one-liners in this movie. And it's just mildly distracting. It doesn't pull you out of the movie by any stretch, because unlike some people have said, there is no way on earth they're going to mistake this movie for a comedy. It is just not like that. But that's the problem. It's not a comedy. And you have a plethora of one-liners, and it just it distracts. It doesn't pull you out the story by any stretch, but it distracts. I mean, I would have personally preferred to have less of them coming from Thor than the people around him. Have Thor be the straight man to these elements, I think would have been a lot more successful. But in any case, as I said, it's a pretty good movie. It's action-packed. It works. It fires on all cylinders, and it definitely revitalizes the Thor franchise. I don't know if Chris Hemsworth has any more movies after the two upcoming Avengers movies. So they may replace Thor, or have Thor just go on a hiatus for a while they introduce new characters. It's entirely possible. If that's the case, this is a perfect movie to be the last Thor movie. It's so much more ambitious, so much more visually interesting than the first two movies. Another point of strength for Thor Ragnarok is the music. It departs from typical Marvel movies in that it gets very synthy at certain points. And it makes sense. The movie takes place in two places. A planet named Sakaar, where he meets the Hulk, and Asgard. When in Asgard, the music is more classical, more typical for the genre. But when he's in Sakaar, there are moments that it gets a very synth feel to it, which is nice. And when you see spaceships, there's still that synthiness comes into play for the music. It's a welcome change and makes the music for the movie much more distinctive than it has been before. So that's a good thing. It's such a strong movie, and I mentioned music earlier because they use Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song towards the end of the movie. Well, I'd say the last quarter of the movie. They used the Immigrant Song. And it's so well integrated. It doesn't feel like, I don't know, Suicide Squad, where they seem to throw in songs just to throw them in. This just fits the action, it fits the intensity, it fits the look. It just works. It's awesomely integrated into this movie. So, I would check out Thor Ragnarok if I were you. If you were a little lukewarm about Thor, even more reason to check it out, because Thor just is awesome in this movie. It's a lot of fun, a little too jokey, but not terribly so. Well worth the time. This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and review. Peace.